welcome. 833. My clock on. We're going to start with a little seated. Okay. And today I'm inspired to address the balance of the feminine and the masculine. If you read my newsletter at all, that was a big theme for the last week that I've been sharing with 40 other women and finding the balance. You know, it's all about, you know, this big rise of the divine feminine happening. Didn't notice, you know, bringing back the feminine without, and also uplifting the masculine. So finding that balance, we're not living in a patriarchy or a matriarchy, we're actually living in balance between the masculine and the feminine. So we have those same qualities, all of us have those qualities within us. And in yoga, we refer to these as the yin and the yang, okay? Of ease and effort. Sthira Sukham Asanam is one of the only sutras that speaks about how to address the asana practice, and it's steadiness and ease, the balance of steadiness and ease. So the steadiness is the masculine force that helps us to focus, that creates discipline. Someone else is here. That brings in our focused attention and our discipline. So we need that masculine quality. Personally, myself, I have a strong masculine. Probably because I didn't have a father growing up, so I took care of myself. But that's allowed that sense of focus, determination. And then the feminine, which is the yin quality, the softening, the opening, the receptivity, and that easefulness, like all-encompassing. So that soft, more empathetic and intuitive aspect of self. So as we move through our practice today, just let yourself reflect a little bit on your own relationship and how you express your feminine and your masculine. We call it the divine feminine, the divine masculine, because that means we're coming into our highest expression. Okay, so there's always a strength and a weakness in everything. We live in a world of duality, right? So if the masculine is too strong, we're forceful, we're overly forceful. This is when we hurt ourselves in yoga, making ourselves do things, putting too much fiery energy in, or maybe being too rigid in how we approach the practice. And then the feminine aspect, if that's out of balance, it's like not really being present and kind of spacing out and being too soft. So just watch how you move through. I think in this time together, you know, we'll feel those different energies move through us, both in our bodies and also in our minds. Okay, is the mind focused? So this is why we focus on the breath. Okay, so when we're moving, we keep the mind in the present, not spacing out, and also keeping that connection to the practice. That's holding the container. Then within the container, once you have it held and have those boundaries of discipline, then we can move creatively within, and that's the creative feminine, the Shakti flow. So we can move and really pay attention to what's truly happening within our own temple body. And really attend to it. So choose for yourself how much effort you put into your practice and how much ease, okay? So who just came in? Someone else just popped in. I want to say hello. Oh, Nancy, hi. Good to see you. You're a little square right now, so I can make sure I'm grounded. So let's start like this. Let's place the soles of the feet together, maybe up on a bolster or a block or something underneath your hips or a blanket. Place the soles of the feet together so you're really feeling the ball of the foot, the heel of the foot come together. Choose your own distance between the heels and the hips. How wide do you want to be there? And then draw your hands to your shins anywhere between your knees and ankle and pull back a little bit. So you let your elbows soften, and then as you draw back, your heart will lift, right? Your spine will come forward a little bit. And then as you exhale, anchor your sitting bones down. Press down to the sitting bones, right in the center. If you're rolling back on the sitting bones, let's just do that. Roll back on the sitting bones. Let the spine round, and then roll forward on the sitting bones. So holding the container by keeping the legs active, letting your hands pull gently on the shins, and then let the pelvis rock back and forth just to awaken the lower back, bring energy up the length of the spine. Inhaling and opening, exhaling, rounding. Now you can get your chest involved and your throat. Exhale your breath as you come back, squeezing internally. And then as we inhale, soften and receive. And feeling inwardly, this is a moment to take inventory. What is present in your body today? What kind of energy are you coming to the practice with? Notice your state of mind. How has it been this morning thus far? And what are your desires for this practice? What do you want to create for yourself in all those realms? Physical, energetics, and mental, emotional. Let's come up to the center. Now find the center point of the sitting bones. You're still drawing back gently on the shins. And then lengthen up from your hip to your armpit, letting the front of the ribs drop down. So you feel like there's this even column of your torso, okay? Getting into the trunk of your body. Relaxing the shoulder blades down the back, keeping the neck soft, drop the chin ever so slightly. Soften the jaw. And let's go ahead and close the eyes and deepen the breath. As we inhale, let that be an opportunity to open to receive, to bring that feminine quality of receptivity into the practice, openly recognize what is coming into you, what is present, soften the inner body, open the container. And then on your next exhalation, just breathe at your own rate. As you exhale, let there be that outer body hugging to the inner body, creating a comfortable hold, a gentle connection, skin to muscle, muscle to bone, supporting the container. And without totally letting go, inhale and expand. So notice how you can let the body open and receive without completely releasing. Want to keep a little bit of that engagement as you receive. And then as you exhale, as you begin to anchor and pull in and squeeze gently, skin to muscle, muscle to bone, there's still a softness available. And this is that Sthira Sukham Asana, the balance of steadiness with ease. So a few breaths on your own, just taking a little moment to reflect on what is present in you today. What kind of energy do you need to move forward into your day? A softer, flowing energy or more focused, determined energy? On your next exhalation, begin to let the body soften a little bit more. We'll go into a couple yin poses to start, just dropping the chin to the throat. And then letting your body weight sink forward to wherever your tissues stop you, just where the hips stop. You might then change your hand position on the floor or your legs. Just notice where you naturally dive when you let the body relax forward. Head dropping, spine rounding, belly softening. Release the hip joints. Relax the knees and the feet. Now let's take 10 full, deep, conscious breaths here. So each inhalation, be aware of your willingness to open and receive, soften. And as you exhale, just staying very, very attentive to what is present in the moment. Harness your attention. on your own. These 10 breaths, a time to connect inwardly with the many layers of your being. Give yourself permission to make slight rearrangements or to create subtle movements to feel more fully what is present, to release unnecessary holding while still maintaining connection. Together, let's allow 3 more breaths here. So feel the beginning, middle, and end of your next inhalation. Pausing momentarily in your fullness. And then observing in the beginning, middle, and end of your exhalation and pausing empty. Pressing weight into your hands for support. Slowly begin to breathe your way up. So each exhalation, maybe push a little higher, pause, take a deep breath in. Then as you exhale, press again, slowly rise. Take a breath in. Bring yourself all the way up. Deep breath in. Blink your eyes open. Take your gaze up. And then look over to your left, down, and look over the right. And just take a little inventory of your outer temple. Where are you today? What is surrounding you? Colors, textures, lighting. Now go the other way. As you take in your environment, your eyes are soft. And you're moving slowly so you don't get dizzy. Feeling into the neck. As you come to the center of the throat, next, pause. Anchor the sitting bones, tone the belly, and then lift the chin level to the earth. Let's take the arm bones up, back, and down. Good. And then bringing the knees together, straighten the legs out. Let's plant the hands either beside you or slightly behind you. Step your feet hip distance apart, spread the toes, firm the muscles of the legs for a moment, circle the ankles, and feel your breath. So as we're warming up, the first phase of the practice is always to center, right? Which that first pose is for, to center in on our intention, to connect our body, mind, and breath. Let's circle the other direction. And to be fully present. The second phase in our warm-ups is to just gently feel our body and give it gentle, repetitive movement to awaken the joints and get the blood flowing. Let's reach down and grab the left leg. Hold your knee, hold your heel. Just rock the hip a little bit. Give the hip joint some awakening. Lean back, keeping the heart lifted. Make sure you're not rounding back and collapsing the spine. Lift it up nice and tall. And enjoy the breath. Now, placing the foot, the edge of the foot down on the ground, and then pull the foot either anywhere between the knee and the groin, what's comfortable for you. So you can drop this knee down. I find when I bring my heel higher, I can actually drop my knee more easily, but notice what works for you, okay? And then turn your belly, ribs, and chest towards the straight leg. And we're going to do a little bit what's called Vini Yoga style. We're going to go in and out of the pose a few times, and then we're going to relax into it. Okay, so it's very fluid. As you anchor the sitting bones, take the arms up. If your knee is up, put something underneath your knee like this, because you want this leg to relax. Okay, arms up, stretch it up, sitting bones down. Just feel that openness you're creating through the trunk of your body. Take another deep breath in. And then let the arms come down, chest is still lifted, and hinge gently from your sitting bone. As soon as you feel the stopping of the hamstring, I was going to stop you, then let the spine round. Curl in, chin to throat, and then uncurl. Lift the head, lift the heart, tone the belly, come back up, feel yourself rotating the pelvis all the way back to neutral. And then exhale, hands come down, rotate at the pelvis first, and then round over. Inhale, head, heart, spine and hands. And exhale down. This time you might reach a little further forward. So think of it as warming up to the shape. One more time, take it all the way up. Notice how you come into the form. Hands, heart stays up, rotate the pelvis first, then release the spine and the heart and the head, and pause. Now relax your foot, relax your leg, soften your belly, and let gravity be your friend. Let yourself hang over the leg, even if you're quite upright, that's okay. Drop in and allow yourself to feel that resistance of a gentle pull wherever those pulls are for you. Of course, through the back of the leg, but maybe you feel more in the back of your spine. Let's take 5 deep breaths here and allow your body to soften and allow the tissues to open and the blood to flow and the breath to move. Where can you soften a bit more in these last 2 breaths? And then just as we did in the last form, our straddle, place your hands on the floor, I guess in our butterfly pose. And this is just that gentle half forward bend now coming up. See if you can not be in a hurry to rise. Great. Now from your navel, turn towards the bent knee. What I like to do is actually draw it back. I'm going to come off of my bolster because that's comfortable. So be willing to shift and arrange your props with each movement. So I like to open the knee a little further, turning the torso towards the bent knee, grounding into that back hip. And then taking the hand to the opposite knee, the other arm behind. And then from the belly, turn your belly first, and then your rib cage, and then your gaze. Take your head around. Okay. Now, once you're in that gentle twist, where can you soften? And then pulsate a bit as you exhale and inhale. Feel how as you release the breath, you can just come a little bit deeper, give a little bit more of a hug to the central column of your spine. And as you inhale, a little softening to open, especially expand around the back body, around the kidneys. There's a tendency to lift the heart so much that we compress the kidney area. So can you soften the heart down and breathe into the middle back? Last breath, take your eyes all the way around towards your ear. So you're even opening the muscles of your eyes, stimulating them. And then let's unwind the way we got in. So let's start with the head and then the shoulders and then the ribs and the belly. Back around, straighten the legs out, support yourself so your spine is tall. And this time we're gonna point and flex the feet. Bring them up, spread the toes, reach down, grab the other leg, heel and knee, open the hip joint. What's in there today? Can you lift that heart up? Pull back on the hands on the foot so you can lift your heart. And enjoy your breath. And I just put a little cedar on the fire, just a little cleansing and clearing aspect. I hope you're bringing a little something into your own altars. If you want to talk about that after class, we can. So the scent of the cedar reminded us to let go, to clear out. That's what we're here to do, the cleansing practice. Let's draw the side of the foot to the floor. Keep the foot awakened. Decide where you want it. Now I have a little more tension in this knee, so I'm going to give it a little support. So pay attention. We're not the same right to left usually. Turning the belly, ribs, and chest towards a straight leg. Anchor the sitting bones, arms overhead, deep breath in. First, the hands come down, then the heart moves forward, rotating the pelvis, and then finally rounding over. And then unrounding. Open the heart, lift all the way up. Move with your breath. Exhale, try it on, turning maybe a little bit more towards that leg. So the intention here is to refine how we move into the form. Because how we move into the form determines what we receive from the form once we're there. Last time. Maybe hold the leg or hands on floor, find your way in. Turning the navel towards a straight leg. Where can you soften? And then let gravity be your friend. Let it support you. Let it bring you into those points of resistance. And then as you breathe, soften the tissue, open those channels of energy, and even imagine those flows moving through you, that deep creative flow of your own life force. Give yourself one more full, deep, conscious breath, paying attention to the full length and the pause between. Placing the hands wherever for support and slowly drawing yourself up. And then we'll turn. So as we turn towards the bent knee, arrange your legs so your hips are comfortable. And then turn from the belly, then the ribs, heart, and head. And really breathe into those back ribs. Nice inner hug. Also reflecting on your quality of mind. How does it feel to move slow to begin? Can you feel the nuances of subtlety when we slow down? There's so much more moving on the inside that can often go unnoticed if we're moving too quickly. Let's squeeze into it a little bit more on that next exhalation. And then unwind head, shoulders. Ooh, that woke up some stuff in the lower back. Did it for you? Legs out in front. Okay, so we're going to take the legs wide. A couple more things on the floor here. I'm going to use a smaller lift underneath my sitting bones with a blanket. You might want to do that too. Excuse me, take the legs out. And I'm just going to fall off the edge of the blanket so that the pubic bone's dropping. You don't have to be this way. You can, my legs used to go out like this, probably why I have a new hip, because I was overextending. but this is good enough. Just go to that first point of sensation. You can use your hands outside here. This is actually the traditional pose, is to just stay upright. Bhavishta Konasana, it's called. Upright angle. And then we can relax the feet a little since we're bringing that yin element, that softening. A bit of engagement in the core. So we're balancing, right? The yin and yang, the masculine, feminine, so that engagement is holding the container, and then soften where you can so the energy flows. Now, if you can hold yourself upright, that's fine. Some of you are going to be able to then start to hinge from the pelvis. You could grab your bolster and just rest your head on your bolster like this, if that's enough sensation for you. Lower the bolster and go deeper. If you don't have a bolster, which I hope you do, if you don't have one, let's talk after. We'll get you a hugger mugger bolster. They're the best. But you can use blocks if you want. Okay. So keep working into your form. Saying hello to your inner thighs, your hips, what's happening here. Maybe it's in your spinal region. And let's take 5 more breaths. Now, we're not holding as long as we might if I was doing a full yin practice, because we're going to mix this up. We're just beginning with yin. And when we practice these long holds, it's best to do in the beginning if you truly want the effects of traditional yin, which is the fascial system, opening the connective web within us. And we want to do that when the muscles are not warm. So when we go to deep stretching at the end of a practice, after you've done an active practice, that's a deep stretch for the muscles. Yin is a deep opening of the more subtle fascial connections, deep in the joints, ligaments, tendons, and the web of fascia that surrounds every muscle fiber, every grouping of muscle, and throughout the body. So let's take a few more breaths here. Patiently allowing your body to respond. Relax your neck and throat. Last breath. Begin to press into your hands for support. Take your time slowly, slowly coming up. So I think I'd cut off that thought, but in a typical yin, which we'll do another time, but I wanted to blend them today, because you might stay in a pose like that for up to 5 minutes. That felt good. Whatever feels good in your practice, you kind of want to register that so you do it again on your own the rest of the week. Let's hold the knees and bring them in, and just cross the legs, cross the ankles. Shouldn't say just, because that's not so easy for everybody. Get yourself comfortable. Hold the knees, and I've been playing with this breath a lot. Let's hope it gets more familiar for you. Where we're lifting the chest and then settling back down. And we're going to do that about 20 times with me at this pace. So let your breath go, and then we go. Now, deep breath in and pause. Release. Bring the hands to your shoulders, fingers down, thumbs on the top of your shoulder, fingertips down. So having lifted the chest, you want to keep that lift and keep your sitting bones grounded. So get a sense that you're lengthening the back body as well as the front. And another spinal twist. This one now will be more active. You're going to turn to your left. I'm not mirroring you because we want to inhale to the left, which brings in the feminine energy to the right side of the brain. And then we're going to exhale to the right, softening the masculine energy on the left side of the brain. So it's in, out. You're going to want to close your eyes, or if you tend to get dizzy, you can keep your head forward. Okay. So just gently swinging right to left, moving around the central axis of your spine, and together. Let your breath be very full and deep and even. Put the power behind the breath. Let there be softness in the body. Now take a deep breath in. Pause in the middle. And release. Easy breaths. That's meant to get that Shakti flowing, that energy moving. Let's remove things off the mat and come onto all fours, please. Okay. Perhaps something underneath your shins. So as we come into this tabletop position, fingers forward, hands, wrists forward of the shoulders, feeling into the earth, anchoring into the earth with your finger pads and the inner edge of your hand. Feel your wrist gently rotate inward. And then pressing down, lift the torso away from the floor with a neutral spine and feel the shoulder blades come together on your back so your upper arms rotate outward, inward on the wrist, outward on the shoulders. Find the steadiness of your arms, maybe curl the toes under. It's kind of nice in this position, or toenails down. And then lift the bottom a little more, sink your torso, keeping the arms steady. Feel the back body extend. Adjust your head so your neck is happy. Take a couple breaths here. Squeezing the back body as you drop the front body. Think of the spinous processes pressing towards each other. That's the back of the spine. Let those bones be stimulated. I like to call this hammock back. You're creating a hammock for yourself. And then toning as you exhale, tone the pelvic floor. Feel your sitting bones and then engage the muscles between them. And let that also engage the lower belly, rotating the pelvis. Let's come up to cat pose. Adjust so your hips are slightly behind the knees so you can really lift the armpits and stretch the side body. Maybe bring the heel of the hand off the ground. Hold for a few breaths. You're really stretching the back body. And then let's flow. Inhale, open, and round. So on your own, with your breath, flow at whatever pace feels comfortable. If you want to increase and activate your energy body, a little bit more action, then take the pace a little bit quicker. If you've had a lot of action in your days and you need to mellow out, you need to slow down, then take it slow. Just really move like, I always think of a lava lamp, energy flowing up and down. So another half a minute of this gentle movement to awaken the spine, hips, and shoulders, and to really acknowledge the energy that is right for you today. How are you moving your energy? Next time you're open, stay lifted, head up, heart open, and then engage the front body so you're more neutral. Walk your hands way out, keeping your hips directly over your knees, not coming forward, but way back there. Bottom up, tone the belly, and then go into the shoulder joints as you sink the armpits. And the same thing we did in our tabletop, the inner edge of your hand grounded, rotating the wrist in, and the upper arm bones rotating out. Maybe you get your head to the floor, melt your heart, keep the belly toned, and you can play with what feels right in your lower spine. Maybe the toes change. And let's take a few breaths here, softening the heart and really honoring the earth. Here we are down on the ground, hands and head towards the earth, bowing down, what we call Mama Gaia. I've really come to realize how important it is. I mean, I've always known it, but I think I've gained a whole new feel for the importance of aligning with nature and taking care of the earth. And if we can live in harmony with nature, if we can live by the law of nature, we could create so much goodness. And this is what Ayurveda teaches us. So part of this practice today, a couple more breaths here, of dropping into some yin is a wonderful balance to the active hot days of summer. Active hot, if you have a lot of that in your life, then let your practice be more quiet and calm and cool. Now you're pressing into your hands. You're going to start to come up by lifting your belly. You don't have to lift your head. And then shift your weight forward. Drop down onto your elbows. I'm going to slide back because I have my blanket. If you have a blanket, make sure your pelvis gets on your blanket. And then walk forward on your hands. Let your elbows be forward of your shoulders. And you can just lay your head down, or you can check it out. We're going to stretch the legs out behind us and open the front of those hip joints. Make sure your feet are about shoulder width apart. Anchor the toenails. Think of all 10 toenails coming to the ground. The knees press down and the pelvis press down. Then squeeze the muscles of the knees. We're going to bring in that yang energy now, hugging the muscles to bone a little more actively. And then slide the elbows perhaps a little closer so you can press into the forearms, and then draw up to the crown of the head and pull back isometrically on your elbows so you're arching the back. Now here again, you can determine how much effort, how much yang, how much yin. So how much effort or how much ease. Maybe you want to soften into it. Let's take 5 breaths. You could also release the neck here. So find what feels good and breathe into that. Give your body the opportunity to really engage what you're asking. What kind of position is your body in, and how can it gently adjust? Awakening and releasing along the way. From here, press into your hands. Maybe go up a little bit higher if that feels right. If there's, like, if you're not feeling safe at any type, then you want to move into a different shape. And then we'll come down, elbows out. Hands come back by your heart, elbows off the ground. Okay, make sure your kneecaps and all 10 toenails are on the ground so you're not rolling your feet out. You want them down. Forehead to the floor. Bring your attention to your shoulder blades and let them draw together. This will lift your arm bones. Again, press the knees and the pelvis, squeeze the shoulder blades, lift your head and your heart, lift your hands, and then come up and down a few times, lower and lift. And notice where you feel this. If it's too much, you could leave the head down and just lift the arms and focus on the shoulder girdle. You could leave the hands down for support if you need that, to focus more in the lower back. Or you can do more for the strength by lifting it up. So a few more times so that you determine what is best for you. Find a place where you can hold either just the shoulders or with hands on the ground or the whole backside, and breathe, sustaining the connection to your strength in the back body. Turn your head to one side, release it down, draw the arms straight by your side, palms down, okay? Draw your feet, your legs a little closer together, more like hip distance apart, and then bend the knees. Activate the feet like you're pushing your feet onto the ceiling. Now bring your forehead to the floor. Draw the arm bones away. Lift your head and your heart. Push up through the soles of your feet, squeezing the buttocks. If it feels right, lift the arms. Breathe, check in. And a few of you will be able to bend the knees and bring the ankles and hands together. If you can't, that doesn't matter. Just do the lift. If you do grab the ankles, push away to more fully open. So you're still active here, whether you're lifting fully or you've got the connection. 3 more breaths, please. Enjoy them. And then as you come down, slowly release. Turn your head to the other side. Soften, breathe into your back body. Then place your hands next to your heart, head to center, so cobra arms. They don't have to be right next to your side. You could take them out wider, but aligned with your chest. Shoulders back, peel up. Lift the pelvis. Arrange yourself on your mat. Anchor into the earth with the hands and the feet. Lift your bottom up and take the knees off the ground. So do a little puppy pose at first where the knees are bent, and then hug into the navel so that you're neutralizing your spine after that backward bend. And we're going to balance it out, not with a forward bend, with a neutral spine. Maybe take the hips right to left, pedaling the feet a bit. So we're decompressing the spine in downward dog, right? It's a neutral alignment. The shoulders are open, the hips are awakening. Now we're giving the full length of the legs. Let's bring both heels high, bend the knees, bottoms up, and then pressing in the arms, slowly begin to lower the heels to your first point again of resistance. And breathe. Maybe lift your heart a little bit more. There's a tendency to hang on the shoulder girdle. Please lift the armpits. And breathe. 3 more deep breaths here. Can you find the rest, a resting sensation in downward dog, which is its intention, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Bending the knees, gazing forward from that resting pose, we're going to walk up a little bit. Feel your feet on the ground. Bring your hands back to your shins. Draw up enough to neutralize the spine. Finding that length from tailbone to crown of head. And when you got that, your legs are steady and strong without locking, then curl in. Come back up halfway. Bend your knees a lot. Let your bottom lift. Tone your belly, and then pushing into your hands, open your heart. Take the arms forward so you can sink back a little more, and then little pulsations into your hips. Checking it out. Maybe your arms open a little more so you can get your shoulder blades closer to your heart. Awakening the legs so we can support ourselves. As you do this, not only pressing into the feet, and you squeeze into the glutes. Find the connection between your heels and your hips. Down, and then we're going to come all the way up. Lift the arms overhead. And let the arms come down. Throw the shoulders out. Okay, a little awakening down there. I'm going to move things off the mat. Good for you to do that too. And we're going to come into recognized mountain pose. Feet are well grounded, toes spread, knees soft, muscles awakened, coming more into our yang. Now we're going to activate the energy, but with a gentle effort, right? Because it is summer, it's Pitta season. So it's good to have your practice be more towards that easeful, cooling side, but we don't want to give up all of our strength work. We want to keep engaging and challenging ourselves so we stay strong and steady. So belly, whole area pulled in and up, rib cage long. Arms out by your side, take the arms overhead. Okay. And then pull them right down midline. Feel the heart lifting. Take them up center again. And release them down. This time, take the hands behind the back, interlace your fingers, place them right on your sacrum. Arm bones come back, okay? If you feel you might step a little wider between your feet, I just did that automatically because we're gonna come into a forward fold and work into our shoulders. Soften the knees. And then as we come forward, rotate the pelvis, keeping the heart open. Think of your elbows trying to reach each other behind you. Then let the crown of the head dangle towards the floor. Bend your knees as much as you need to. And then to the shoulders, squeeze the shoulder blades. And if you can, press your hands away from the sacrum towards the sky. Just notice where they go. And then take 5 breaths here. So we're allowing the torso to sink. I'm going to just come see what I can see in the gallery here. Yes. Adjusting the shoulders. There you go. Chin into throat. Beautiful. Yeah. And keep softening into the shoulder girdle. So we're giving a gentle nudge to those connective tissues deep in the joint, which helps to strengthen them as well as release tension. One more breath. Stay where you are in your torso, but bring your hands to the sacrum and then slide the hands down the legs. Bringing the hands to the knees, just above the knees. Let the knees bend, similar to what we just did when we came off the floor. Scoop up the belly, lift the head and the heart, come only halfway. So you're in that squat position, huddle I call it. And now shoot the arms forward. Same thing, arm bones drawing out on the top, wrists facing each other. Okay. Option to take the arms up and open the shoulders more. Maybe it's better for you to bend your elbows. So feel what's alive in your shoulder girdle today. And then little pulsations just to wake up the hips. A little fire breath, out, in, then sink and rise. Let the arms come down. Rotate the shoulders. All right, hands to the rim of the pelvis. Similar but different. We're going to take the legs wide now. When we go wide, option is to parallel the outer edges of the feet or to turn the toes out slightly. And the way you decide that is your kneecaps need to face the middle toes. Okay, so shin bones basically turn out to bring the knees and toes in alignment. Thigh bones rotate in. Can you find that action? So there's a little twist. Do you remember doing Indian burns when you were a kid? That was a thing. Like we do one hand and the other and create a little heat in the skin. That's what we're doing here. Shin bones out, thigh bones in, feet grounded, tone the belly. Okay. Same thing. We're going to take the hands to the back, squeeze the shoulder blades, soften the knees so you can rotate from the pelvis. So wide straddle, tucking the chin to the throat, and once again, letting the arms go where they can go. Into your shoulders. Let your head dangle. Please bring your attention to your heels, anchoring the heels to lift the hips. Keeping action in the legs. Can we gently hug the legs closer together without moving them? Just feel that connection to the center. So the legs are steady and strong. We still have an engagement in the abdomen, and we're letting the shoulders be soft and easeful. 3 more breaths. You're a little bit upside down too, so feel that inversion. Pouring yourself out. So remain in the form except for the arms. Hands come to the sacrum, then slide down your legs towards your ankles. Now flare the elbows and hug in and open the space between the shoulder blades. If you point your elbows back a little bit more, it'll really open up in the rhomboid region, the space between the spine and shoulder blades. One more breath, noticing the weight on your feet. Make sure you're not rolling out on the outer edges of your feet. Stay grounded in all 4 areas. And then bring your fingers to the floor or your shins, depending. Bend the knees, lift and open the chest. So some of you might have to be up a little higher, or hands on the floor. Pull the heart forward. Okay. Then everybody bring your hands up and then push down to straighten the legs and unhinge. Okay. From here, we're just going to circle the hips in this wide position. Okay. The top of the thighs getting deep into the hip joint. And then you can take your drishti, your gazing point, to a neutral place in front of you. And feel your breath, inhaling and exhaling rhythmically. What's in your hips today? And then when you're ready, organically shift to the other direction. Equal opportunity. This is really good to do after you've been sitting a lot. If you've been sitting at a desk or in a car, this really helps balance that out. And we're going to bring it right into center and walk in heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. And then walk it out. Whoa, find your balance, which I'm not doing. Okay. So as we do this, we're going to keep marching. I love doing this. So then we're going to go in slow motion. And what we want to feel is that we're anchoring the foot on the ground. Focus more on pushing down than lifting up. Let the lift come from the anchoring. Just like on a trampoline, you focus on pushing down. It took me years to learn that. I was very wobbly on a tramp. I kept jumping up. But you really want to push down and then let the opposite action happen naturally. So can you feel that? The more you push down, the more stable you are, and everything else can rise. Okay, let's even go slower and bring it up. Put your arms wherever you want. Rotate your ankle. Breathe. Place it down. Shift your weight into that foot. Push down to lift up. Choose your arm position. Rotate the ankle. Make sure the standing leg, you want to pull back on that thigh, not lean into it. Other direction. Set it down. Release. So now we're going to lift again, but this time the opposite way to open the hip joint. So I'm going to turn sideways. I'm going to step 1 foot forward and then sink into it. Feel yourself leaning down into that leg. Take the arms up like cactus. So as your elbows come forward, your shoulder blades are strong on your back and equally engage the abdomen. Front body strong, back body strong. And then shift your weight like we did in our forward bends. You're shifting from the pelvis. And then start to come off the back foot, bend the knee, activate both feet, toes are spread, you're balancing and stay right there, or you can play with some more. You can go a little further forward, or you can start to straighten your limbs, or you can fly around like me. Just play with the balancing. And one key aspect here is drawing way back on the standing hip. So if you're on your right foot, pull the crease of your right hip back to help balance your pelvis. Okay? It's hard to talk and do this at the same time. I'm going to do it anyways. And breathe. Feel the strength you're building in the standing leg, and then return to mountain. Feel the heat you brought in that leg. Very important, standing on our own 2 feet. Let's step back a little bit and begin again. So feel how one leg's more awakened than the other, so let's balance it out. Step the other foot forward, sink your roots deep, tone the belly, open the arms, back body strong, front body strong, and release, and bring the other foot off the ground. So it's easier with the limbs bent because you're hugging closer to midline. If you want to challenge yourself, move away from midline by straightening through the limbs. The important thing is to balance, even if you have your back toe on the floor. Keep those balancing muscles activated. Few more breaths, making sure the heart is open. If you're rounding your upper back, bend those elbows and bring the heart open. Woo! If you fall, fall gracefully. When you're ready, slowly come up and release. Roll the shoulders out. Okay, balancing each and every day. So we're gonna do one more. That works the back body to hold everything open. And now we're gonna squeeze the front body to open the back in Garudasana, which is eagle pose. We'll start with the upper arms, or start with the arms. Arms open. And then let's cross. I'm not gonna mirror you. Let's be aware of your right arm and cross your right elbow over your left. And then bend your elbows. So if you can get them fully crossed, if you can't get them fully crossed, then just hold your shoulders like that. Otherwise, try and press the back of the hands or maybe even wrap. Okay, so what we want to feel is the back of the arms opening, but watch this at the same time, not collapsing, but lifting the heart and drawing the arm bones back still, even though there's a lot of forward action. We still want to seat those shoulders back. Your arms come onto your chest, whether you're here or hands crossed, and squeezing the top of your chest, your lymphatic glands, right? Your lymph glands, because you want to squeeze that out. It's a very cleansing practice. And then from here, look forward, find your gazing point. If you want, if your hands are clasped, you bring them right to your nose. That's your eagle beak. And then we're going to sink back into the squat that we've done a few times now, feeling the weight in your heels. Okay, squeezing the glutes so that they're activating for you. Now, if your right arm is on top, anchor into your right leg, much like we did in our Warrior 3. Find the grounding, pushing down into the right leg, drawing back on the right hip. Otherwise, it's left, depending on your body. Then you unweight the opposite heel. Maybe just stay there. This could be your form. That might be challenging enough. If not, you can cross over, put the toe down on the other side, super squeeze at the groin, more lymph glands being compressed. And if you can, you could bring the foot off the floor and balance. Eventually wrapping that foot around and dragging the knees and the elbows to midline. I call it dragging because that's what it feels like. Dragging them over. And breathing, settling. Remembering that sense of ease. And then unwinding the legs, pushing up, and releasing the arms. Shake it out. We're going to do the other side. I'm going to show you an option. What's tricky with our squares is I can't see everybody all the time, but this is an option, is to put a block over on the outside of the foot. So when you do cross over, you can put your foot on that block. So if that was challenging, you might do that. Okay, so you have more grounding. Let's just find the opening of the heart. And then take the left arm or the opposite arm over, whatever you did last time. Either hold the shoulders or hold the hands. Get your eagle beak on if you can. Take a nice deep breath in and sink back. This is a fine pose in itself. Shift your weight into, if your left arm's on top, your left leg grounds. Square the pelvis, unweight the opposing heel. Breathe. Choose to stay here or move on. Squeezing. The good thing about the block is you can get a higher cross of the thighs. So you can really squeeze those lymph glands. Squeeze like a sponge. Your eagle, the eagle that sits in her nest, looking out upon the horizon with eagle eyes. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And when you're ready, begin to rise and flap your eagle wings. And then everything begins to soak up a fresh supply of oxygenated blood. Squeeze and soak. All right, shake that out a little bit. Let's take it wide and do a little bit of a flow. And then we're going to come down to the ground and do some more strength work for the core. So standing wide on your mat, hands on your pelvis. Let's rotate the pelvis right to left because we can't. Okay. And we're going to take the pelvis. I'll mirror you this time. Let's go to your right. So you turn the pelvis and then turn out on the heel and anchor the back leg strongly. Okay, push down on it. Let's take the arm up and find the length from hip to hand. Just really feel that length on the right side of your body. Pull up and out of the pelvis. Maybe turn the bicep a little bit more towards your ear so the shoulder girdle's aligned. Plugging into the back heel, let the back heel push you forward. Rotating at the pelvis, bottoms up. Stop when your hamstring talks to you, and then place your hand either on the shin, you might grab a block, the ankle. You could go wider to get lower. Push down. Now let's align. Bring the tailbone in a bit and bring your hips in line with your heels. Tone the belly, roll open the heart. Think of the twist we did, this little spinal twist here. Hand can stay on the hip or float the arm up. Now, you've got 5 lines of energy that you're expanding. So breathe deeply. Open the core of your body up the Sushumni Nadi. And then send that energy down from the hips into the legs and back again. And then open across your heart, front side and back side. Expand your wings all the way out to the fingertips. So 5-pointed star. Let that energy flow. Looking down towards the earth, tuck the chin. Let the front knee bend. Lift up to place the forearm on the thigh. And then either place the hand down on your hip and feel that lunge. You want to get your knee right over your ankle. Maybe adjust the space between the feet. Tone the belly. And then sweep the arm along to your biceps at your ears and stretch open the top side body. Adjust your head so your neck is happy. Extended side angle, sinking into the hips, opening the heart, activating that top side from heel to hand. Awaken. One more breath and looking down, let your top arm come around, lean forward, back heel off. If it feels better, bring your blocks around, square the pelvis, lower through the knee, open the heart, and then draw back up and tone the belly and round. Back heel comes high, and then down, open the heart, shoulders back. Let's do this a couple of times so we can really refine it. Move in a way that feels balanced between your effort and your ease. We'll stay down in the lunge. Put your toenails down so you can get off the kneecap. Open the heart. Square the pelvis, hands on thigh, and lift the belly. Feel that opening through the quad. Take the arms either into cactus or overhead. Let it open. Open the throat. One more deep breath in. Release. Now, option for some is to lean forward and bend the back knee. Can you come forward off the kneecap? That's key. Okay, if you don't like this, just leave it down and I'll give you something else if you can. We'll do this. You're gonna lean onto the same hand and reach back with your opposite hand. Lift the head and the heart, bend the elbow, and say hello to your quadricep. Okay, the option, if you can't reach that, is to stay in your lunge, flex your toes, and just lift with the muscle of your hamstring. Okay, and lean into the front of your thigh. So you don't have to do the hand grasp. Okay. Say hello to those big muscles in the front of the leg. And then release, good. Drop back, round over. And as we come forward, we're going to bring this front leg back. Move your blocks out of the way. Find your tabletop pose. Curl the toes under and come into downward dog. Shake it out. Okay, so the same leg you had behind you, which was your right leg, let's bend it again. This time draw it up. We're going to go into the hip joint. So keep drawing back on the crease of your standing leg and then roll open the lifted leg. Try not to get too wonky in your shoulders. Be aware of how you're aligning your spine, your shoulders, your hips. Open it up. Then square it off. Tone the belly. Look up. Step your leg as far forward as you can. Step the other leg forward and round over. And we're going to roll it up vertebrae by vertebrae. And feel that side of your body, what you've awakened. I'm going to change to the other side. I'm going to move my blocks over for convenience. Stepping wide once again. Releasing the hips. Then we'll turn to your left. Turn the foot way out, maybe even walk a little to the right. Anchor out. So Utthita Trikonasana first. Back leg grounded, heart wide open, hinge from the pelvis, bottoms up. Anchor on the shin, the block, or the floor, depending on your hips. Open the heart. And then rotate. Belly, ribs, chest, maybe float up. So feel those 5 lines of energy opening. I'm going to take a little closer peek. Okay. 5 lines of energy expanding. Spine, both limbs. Good. Linda, you could take a wider stance in that pose and your hips would be more open. If you can adjust that from there, it's kind of tricky. Now lean back into your shoulder blades. Really open your heart. Get that space of the front ribs open. Lean back, lean back, lean back, lean back. There it is. Feel that. That looks great, Roxanne, Nancy. Can't really see. Oh, that's me. Nice. Yeah, there you go, Michelle. Tuck the chin in a little bit and open the heart. Lean into your shoulder blades. Bringing your rib cage back. But yeah. See how that feels. One more breath looking down. Okay, to release the neck. Let the front knee bend. Let your top arm come back to your hip. So from triangle, you're softening, bend the knee, and lift your belly ribs and chest. You can bring your forearm to your thigh. Okay, and we're not leaning into that. We're actually pushing away from. You could actually keep your hand on a block if you want it. We want to get the heart open, the shoulders light and easy. Then the top arm sweeps around. It's really kind of nice to sweep it so your shoulder is rotated bicep to ear. You might have to adjust your foundation. I tend to go a little wider here myself. You really open that top side body. Extended side angle. Okay, so it's an angle, not a curve. Reaching up strong through that hand, anchoring the heel. Feel the breath, feel the body. Can you lift up out of that pelvis a little bit more? And let the top arm come around as you square your shoulders towards the ground. With or without the blocks, square the pelvis. I like to walk a little wider between the feet and then lower the back knee and lift belly, ribs, and chest. And then push up, lifting the hips high and then lowering down. And then lifting the hips. See if you can let the hips guide the movement. You're not pushing with your knees, you're lifting from center. One more time. Coming into lunge, anchor the back foot. Hands to the thigh, open up. Choose your arm position right where you are, to the hips, arms, deep breath. Let that energy flow. So stay and breathe and open those channels. You see that creative flow of energy that comes into you. As you exhale, sinking into the goodness that you can gain, it's available to you. Now we'll release the hands down. And this time just step back. Place your blocks to the side. Okay. Bring yourself around onto your hips. Move towards one edge of your mat. Hold on to your shins and scoop the belly around the back. Squeeze the buttocks. Bring your hands to the thighs. Walk your feet in a little and then roll down slowly, maybe without your hands, maybe you need your hands. Roll it down vertebrae by vertebrae. Come back to the ground. Once you're there, step your feet shoulder width apart. Let your head roll right to left and consider the practice today. Starting slow with yin, long held poses, being very, very soft. And then moving into an active practice, lots of strengthening and balancing action, more yang. So we maintain our strength. So important. And what you have discovered of finding that balance. Come into center, let your arms open wide at your side. Feet are still shoulder width apart. Drop both legs to one side, keeping your feet shoulder width apart. Don't move your feet. Tuck your tail a bit and feel the front line of the body open. Turning your head opposite the knees. Some deep breaths here. So now we're going to come back to that simple, gentle movement. So soften all the muscles and let the top leg just gently drift up and over to the other side, pulling the other leg with it with as little effort as possible, coming back to that sense of full ease. Take a few breaths on this side. So again, you're opening through the hips, heart, a little bit of a twist in the spine. Head to center, open the legs, and we're going to drift back and forth a few times. Time flies when you're having fun. So today's practice, yin and yang, starting easy on the ground, then working with those traditional standing poses that help to build and maintain our strength and balance. And then coming back into this place of receptive ease. Let's come right into center. Feel what's present in you now. Choose your hand position, bringing your arms by your side or one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Choose your leg position, perhaps dropping the knees into midline with your feet on the floor, or straightening your legs out on the floor. You could try them on and then choose. Once you're still and quiet, resting on the floor, allow the weight of your body to sink heavily, fully, being held by the earth. Soften the surface of your skin. Consider all the squeezing and releasing that we've done today to cleanse your bloodstream, to activate your glands and organs. What a wonderful massage you've given yourself. Now the body softens and absorbs the benefit of your practice, reflecting on your own energy body, your divine feminine, soft, creative, open, flowing, receptive. Acknowledging your divine masculine, strong, focused, determined, and disciplined. See yourself moving through your day with graceful strength. Feel into what's most real and adjust how you respond to all the outer activity, keeping your inner body relaxed and free. Drawing your next breath more deeply, filling your body completely. Relax the jaw as you exhale with a gentle sigh. When you're ready, draw your arms overhead. Take a full breath in deeply and completely. Sigh it out. If your legs are straight, slide your feet back to the floor. Roll over onto one side, cradling your head in your lower arm. Deep breath in and out. Leaving your neck relaxed, your head heavy. Use your hands for support. Peel yourself off the ground. Create a comfortable seat. Hips grounded, head held high. Draw the palms together at your heart. Again, acknowledge what you will carry with you into your day so that this practice becomes a part of all your moments. Dancing, flowing between those places that feel like opposition, but truly are a state of balance. Your yin, your yang. Thank you so much for joining together and being dedicated to this practice. I'm certain that it's supporting not only yourself, but everyone around you. Namaste.